Welcome, hello, and howdy. This is Hot Dog Crochet. It says I'm live, but I'm not live on YouTube. Why not? There we are. So, what I want to do today is crochet the mallard out of the No-Sew mini amigurumi. I'm really enjoying this book. I'll show you what I made yesterday. And I have not been productive at all today. However, I made some mice. Really easy pattern, and I think it's a good one. So yeah, mice. Hello, how are you doing, Zanny? But again, this is what the mallard looks like, and so I'm gonna start on him. So the first thing that I have to do is make the feet. And because of how this is done, it's all crocheted in the round, so we don't actually sew anything in, which is really nice. I'm doing okay, Zan. How is school going? I can't wait for this summer when you can come over, because I just know you're better at a lot of this technology stuff than I am. And, you know, I've missed hanging out with, seeing you and Ariana. Oh, I am so proud of you, sweetheart. Good deal. That's awesome. Hello. Welcome to Hot Dog Crochet. I am making a mallard. Technically, I'm making the feet for the mallard. Is anybody working on anything cool? Hello. Okay. I can't wait for the summertime when we have more sunshine. Although, since it's clouded up around here, I hope that we do get some good rain for the flowers and the grass and stuff. And as Mom says, the birds, the bees, and the monkeys in the trees. Hello. This is one of my favorite sweaters that I made. This one is a crocheted sweater, although I do have knit sweaters as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. Are you working on anything fun this week? I'm working on a mallard out of the No Sew Amigurumi book by Crochet by Jenna. Okay, one leg down. Oh, that's awesome. I like working on market bags, and I do make my own clothes often, and then I also make plushies. But that's awesome. That reminds me, I haven't made a bucket hat in quite a while. That'd be something kind of fun to make for summer. I like these patterns because they are no sew, which is awesome for me because I don't like to sew. I would much rather just crochet. Ah, yes. Oh, that's okay. You're doing better than me because obviously you speak more than one language. I only speak English. I tried to learn Russian for a while when I was in college, but I just really did not grasp it well. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you guys are having a great night. It's been a much better week this week. I did a weekly makes video. It came out yesterday. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I agree. Speaking more than one language is very difficult, and it's something to be admired because it takes a lot of work. I don't know about you guys, but I have a very mischievous dog. His name is Humphreys, and he is a black and tan mini dachshund. And he seems to think he runs the show, but he doesn't. My latest reel is about him stealing my favorite place to crochet, which also happens to be his favorite place to lay down when mom's not up and out. I think because I have I have a pillow in my chair, and he really likes to sit on that. Yeah. We've had cats before, but I'm not really a cat person. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just not my cup of tea. However, I absolutely love our dogs. We also have a Dachshund Chihuahua cross. And she's actually not the yappy one. The yappy one is the Dachshund. Ah, that's awesome that you can speak those languages. I don't know about you guys, but I really love to crochet. It's definitely one of my best outlets. And I like doing plushies because they work up so quickly. And then you have a finished project. Whereas when I make other stuff, it definitely takes more time and energy. And it takes longer to get to where you're going. Okay, now I need to make the wings. Just making sure that I have two of the same color. Because this particular brown is almost gone. So, but I do have another cone of it. Oh, that is awesome. I used to sew like with a machine. I'm not good at hand sewing or embroidery. It just does not. It's just not something that I particularly care for. But I understand being a craft hoarder. Because there were many years when my craft was hoarding craft. We're still going shopping in our basement for yarn. That's how much yarn I still have. But I'm working my way through it. I knit and I crochet, but that's kind of the limit of my crafting now. Mom crochets, plus she does some beaded projects, and Mom is a first-class gardener. Much better at it than I would ever be, because I kill succulents without meaning to. Oh, that is cool. There was a time when I really wanted to get into weaving. However, I have since decided that I have enough crafty stuff going on right now. But that is something that I'm interested in. I watch a YouTube channel. I think the lady's name is Cat Weaver. And she does knitting and weaving and all kinds of stuff. And that is a very interesting show to watch. She's definitely a minimalist, which is kind of the opposite of me. So it's interesting to see what other people do and what they come up with. Oh, Cat Weaver on YouTube. She has been around a long time, but she's definitely a minimalist compared to me, and it's interesting to watch some of the stuff that she comes up with and some of the things that she gets interested in. Her shows to me are pretty unique. So it's been, you know, interesting watching her growth. I really do like watching different shows and different crafts. Even if I'm not going to get into it myself, I really do enjoy watching what people come up with, because people are so crafty. Yes, that's who it is. I also really like Mandy Vaughn. Her show is Mandy Vaughn Knits, and she usually does a video that comes out every Tuesday, and I like watching her too. She is so prolific in her knitting and picking the colors, and you know, a lot of her choices are just like very good. I wouldn't have thought of that, but it's awesome. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been around for a while, and then there's also a lot of new stuff. But it's just fun to see what other people are doing. The other stuff that I kind of gotten into is I'm kind of getting back into history again. There's a bunch of like history YouTube channels out there, and that's always fun and interesting, because the latest one that I talked about how they had just discovered some intact double coffins, and the mummies were still intact, and that was really cool, because That's not something that you find, that like archaeologists and whatnot find very often. And so that was really quite interesting. And I liked how they talked about how they don't like unwrap the mummies and do a lot of testing on the mummies anymore, because they want to be respectful of the dead instead of invasive towards the dead. And that was really interesting because I had never thought about it quite that way. However, it makes sense. What did I do here? Oh, Jamie. No, I was right. So, that was really interesting. I watched that last night. Yes, history, there's just so much. And, learning about animals and history. When I was in, elementary school and junior high and high school, I really wasn't that interested in history per se, but I was definitely interested in animals. But there's just so much out there to learn and experience, and it's fun because now it's on YouTube and we can basically learn from the comfort in our own homes. So it's just interesting what we can have access to and where technology has gone to. Because when I was in high school, the internet was pretty new. It had been out for a couple of years, but it was still pretty new. We weren't allowed to use like Google or like an online search engine to try and learn new facts. We had to go to the library and look it up in books. And now we don't think anything about going to Google to look something up. It's just, technology and time keep marching on. And it's interesting what is out there and what we can learn. And there's just so much. Yes. Yeah. I love YouTube. I find it fascinating what all you can learn and what all you can see and what all you can do, because there's so much on YouTube and on Google and Reddit and all different kinds of platforms that you can learn from and you can get ideas from. Technology just keeps expanding. And our knowledge of our world and of, space and whatnot just keep expanding, just like technology does. And, when I was a kid, I was scared of space. I didn't want to learn about outer space. I thought that whole topic was scary. And now I find it interesting. Yes, you're right. I find it interesting now that they can do research on dark matter and do more research on black holes and all that kind of stuff, because when I was in school, we had a rudimentary understanding of what a black hole was. And now there's so much more information out there, and it's the news and whatnot will say, oh, well, this is rewriting history, or it's rewriting science, or completely revolutionizing it. And all it's really doing is expounding our knowledge. and expounding what we know and what we have access to. So, and yes, meeting crocheters and knitters and, you know, all kinds of people on YouTube is awesome. So it's really been, technology's been a blessing in my world. Almost done with the first wing. Oh, okay. Don't put your age on the internet, hun. That, you know, that's not real safe to do. There are predators out there that might try and hurt you. So thank you for watching and commenting, but please don't put your age out there. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, but there are bad people out there, okay? Good deal. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, so first wing is done. I'm going to tell you why I kind of worry about that, you know, whole thing. One of my young neighbors several years ago got, had someone from across the country come to where we live and stalk her. And she was fairly young. He was caught by the police, but bad stuff can happen. And I just really don't want anybody to get hurt. And yes, this will be so cool when it's done. So, yeah. I just, you know, worry about folks. Not that I can change anything, but I do worry. And I wish I had a magic wand that I could wave, you know, that everyone could be happy and healthy and safe. But unfortunately, I don't have such a thing. So, but I do have plushies, and plushies make me smile. There we go. Crochet by Jenna just dropped a new video, I think within the last like 6 hours or so, about how she took her crocheting as a hobby to being a full-time job. So I'm interested in watching that one. Just to see, you know, what her experience, you know, how she describes her experiences. Because the road for all of us is a little different. But I do like listening to that stuff. What else? I have quite a few tutorials saved on my watch later list. I need to go back and actually watch them. A few of them I have, but most of them I haven't. But there's just so much out there anymore. Okay. More than halfway through the second wing. You know, I really found it cool recently on YouTube. I have connected, like you said, with other crocheters, but I connected with 2 crocheters. One lives in the same state that I do, and the other one lives in another state very close by. And it's been very interesting watching them and connecting with them and listening to what they have, what they do, and you know how they approach things. Because of course, living in Wyoming is we're a little odd out here. We used to be called frontier until a couple years ago, and now we're rural, which is just a federal classification. But we don't really have any like metro areas, which is kind of funny. So even though we live in the capital city, it's, you know, it's not a small town, but it's really not a big one either. Messed up. Got to go back around. Forgot to count. That happens every so often. Yeah, if we want to like go shopping or something like that, the shops at Centera are a little over an hour away. And Denver is, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours away. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed making it. And I love the colors. I made it out of Karen cotton cakes, and it came out really good. I love Karen cotton cakes. Aha. Okie dokies, I have about got the second one done. Okay, so now, let me see if I can get these going the right direction. We've got 2 feet and we have 2 wings. So now it's time to start on the head and the body. If I would quit dropping stuff off my table. And just in case you weren't here to see what we're making, this is what I'm making. This is the Mighty Mallard out of Crochet by Jenna's book, No So Mini Amigurumi. I really have been enjoying this book. It is pretty awesome. I wasn't sure when I got it, but you can tell she put a lot of work into it, and I am very pleased. So which one is that? Okay. I'm not using the exact same, well, I'm not using the yarn that she's using, so I have to keep going back and referring to what each color is so that I can make sure that I'm doing the right color in the right place. So it looks like we are starting on the mallard's beak. The nice thing about some of these patterns is that it's pretty obvious that they're easy to batch make. And so if you need several of these patterns, you can, pieces, you can batch make them, which is actually how I like to make my plushies. Is I don't really like to make just one of them unless I don't like the pattern. Now, if I don't like the pattern, I'm not going to make more of them. But most of the time, I do actually like the patterns, and I will make more. I don't know if you guys saw, but Kayla G of, I don't remember what her crochet business is called. Oh, fudge. Just released an ice cream cone pattern, and this is not her pattern. This pattern is from this Crochet by Jenna book, but it has, I think, a similar feel, although I think that her ice cream cone might not have quite as many rounds in it, or the ice cream. But, she was putting faces and googly eyes on hers, which I thought was pretty cool. I didn't think about doing that with, my ice cream cones. We have a big plant sale that's coming up the end of May. And I'm getting really excited for that. And so I've been trying to figure out like gardening and flower patterns to work up for that. I have some flowers. I'd like to have some more. I do have some of the blooming, the bloom snugglers. That's what they're called. And I absolutely adore that pattern. It works up so quickly. And you can make, or I guess I should say, I have made 4 of them basically in one day because it just works up that quickly for me. And I really do enjoy it. Okay. But yeah, it's been interesting working through different patterns because I'm not just doing the Crochet by Jenna patterns. I am doing some other patterns as well. Our kitchen is a bit overrun with plushies at the moment. But that's okay. I still have 2 boxes that I need to get photographed. And then, what else? But I think I only have 1 plushie at the moment that needs, no, I've got 1, 2, I think I have 3 plushies that need faces or eyes or something along those lines. So I need to work on those. And then they'll be done and ready for photographing. But I'm very excited. I cannot wait to take out my sausage dog, Dipple the Dapple, because she's huge. She's over 2 feet long, and she's a massive plushie, but she is definitely a statement piece. Like, people talk about their anchors being a statement piece. No, she is my statement piece. And of course, my business logo is Hot Dog Crochet, and I have, you know, a black dachshund in the logo. And although she's not a black or a black and tan, I made her a dapple. She is definitely a dachshund, and she is huge. So I can't wait to get her out and let people see her. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of goes and see how some of the stuff that we want to do, how that goes. But it's exciting being able to go to markets, whether you're selling or you're just there to look or to buy. It's been very fun to go to different markets and do different things. So I have really been enjoying it. Okay, now we need to switch to green. Okie dokies, we're switching to green. So this is the green. I know this isn't quite bright. This is more of a sage green, but this is the green that I have. So this is the green that I'm going to use. Okay, now where are we going? Now we're going to build kind of like the front of the face and the forehead. Ba-dum-bum-bum. This is going to be so awesome. I really like how she doesn't put the front of the face right by your round marker. I haven't found any of her patterns that put the face like right there, which I think makes a big deal because you're working in a spiral and you need room because in a spiral things will start to shift a little bit. So She just really did a good job of thinking about all of these patterns and getting them put together in a way that makes them easy to use. And so I'm working on kind of building up that space, kind of where the eyes go, going up into the forehead. Okay. So this is what that looks like. So this is the beak, and then this is where we're making that space for the eyes and the forehead. Not that it's 100% anatomically correct, but it definitely is a cuter way to put it together than some of the other stitches, other ways that I've seen it done. Okay. What else is going on today? Oh, I don't know if you guys heard, but Crochet Vision decided not to do her Thursday night live. She's been having a lot of pain, and I really hope that the doctor can help her feel better, because it's been going on a long time. Not quite a year, but I mean, we are coming up on a year that she's been having it. So I really hope that they can help her feel better, because it sucks to be in pain. It's not fun. And, you know, I wouldn't wish pain on my worst enemy, I don't think. Because it just wears on you and it can tear you down, you know? Yeah, me too. I really do. Although she and her husband Ben, I was going to say she and her Ben, but she and her husband Ben have been making 3D printed hat and ear warmer stands, and they're pretty cool looking. I think they go live to the website soon. I'm not too sure when. But they also make cups that can hold like pencils or your hooks or scissors. Those are really neat too. She's just finding other ways to be creative, because right now crocheting, she just can't crochet because of her shoulder. And, you know, I feel for her. That is so awful when you can't do what you want to do. I went a little too far this time, probably because I was yakking. What else? Before I do this next round, I want to put in the safety eyes. Now, if you don't know, safety eyes really are not that safe because they can be chewed out. And if you do not get the backings on correctly, they can also pop out, which is not something that we want to deal with. So I have figured out that putting in my eyes early or at the very end and using hot glue to put them in, I got to do one or the other, because if I don't, then what ends up happening is that there's too much fabric and I can't actually get the eyes to sit where they need to sit. Okay, there we go. Now I am using a little bit smaller safety eyes because we do some embroidery work around them. And I just want to make sure that I have enough space in case I mess up, because I frequently mess up on the... Oh, hello. I frequently mess up on the embroidery part because I'm not real good at it. The nice thing about this book, though, is that she has step-by-step photo tutorials to walk you through how to do what she'd like you to do. Okay, so this is a decrease, is it? Yes, this is a decrease round. Thank you. I don't know if anyone here has used the Della Duck pattern, but that's probably going to be the next pattern that I purchase, which is going to be a while before I purchase it. But I'm really interested in doing that snuggler, because you have the baby Della and then I think the regular size Della. And that pattern looks so sweet. I would really like to do that pattern. So we're doing another round of decreases. It was nice to meet you. Have a good dinner. Okie dokies. It's about 6 o'clock, and I still have quite a ways to go on my Mallard. So if you're willing to stick around, awesome. If not, that's okay too. Looks like it's just me. That's okay. Well, for those of you that are watching me on the replay, thank you for watching. This is probably going to be a longer one because I would like to try and finish this on the live. I would like to have the whole mallard done. So it is going to take a while to work on him. Okie dokies. A third round of decreases here. Which means that we are getting close to swapping out to the body. Okie dokies. We have the right number of stitches, which is always important. And I do go back and count my stitches because sometimes you get off, and if you're not counting, you won't know. Now, if I'm doing like a market bag or piece of clothing, I'm not as rigid about counting all the time. In fact, I hardly ever count. But when it comes to doing a plushie, because it's smaller, it really does matter, and it does count. So we're getting ready. I think I've got like 2 more rounds before we swap over to the body. Okay, we're going to put in 1 round of white to give the collar, kind of give the mallard really, it defines the neck, the head from the body. Okie dokies. Now, most of this yarn is the yarn that I got off of Amazon. However, this is just regular Bernat white. Okay. And of course, it's old formula Bernat, so I go just a touch slower with it. It's not quite as easy to work with as some of the newer stuff, but it still works. It's not quite as soft. And I know people say that it's starchy or that it's got a residue on it, and that's not what I find. It's It just feels like it was made a little bit different. Okay, so now we're going to swap into the body. And I'll show you here in just a second. Pull out my poor dilapidated brown. And I don't know that I'll get through this entire body with what's on the cone, which is why I have a second cone. Okay. Okay, so I just tied on, well, I just pulled through my brown. So that's the only part that we're putting white on. So now we need to do some increases. So we're one round away from having, well, two rounds away from putting on the wings. Okay, so now the next round is putting on the wings. Now, even though I left myself a tail, I don't have to sew it in because this is going to be crocheted on. Need to do my crochets so I get over to where I need to be. And it's always kind of finicky when you're first starting to crochet any piece on, whether it's a wing or a leg, a tail, it doesn't matter. It's always a smidge finicky that first 1 or 2 stitches. But then after that, it usually is much easier to fit on. Okay, so that wing is on. Now, because of my tension, I need to kind of move one of the wings so that they'll match up on both sides. Well, move the placement of the wing so they match up on both sides for me. And, you know, if you're making plushies, sometimes that's just something that you have to do is, you know, count and figure out where it sits best. Oftentimes when you're making a plushie like this, it will tell you to fold the like say fold the wing in half and then single crochet across that. I skip that step because it doesn't work for me. Okay, so I completed that round and I have 2 wings. I am going to stop for just a second and start doing some stuffing. So I've got my polyfill in a box over here, but I'm getting real low. I'm going to have to get into a new sack tonight, which is just fine. I have several in a box out on the front porch that I can get into. Last time it was kind of on sale at Walmart. I picked up one of their giant boxes where I think I got 20 pounds of stuffing. But yeah. Although knotting hook crochet, was able to go to Walmart. What day was that? Sometime in the last week, she went to Walmart and there was a box of stuffing that the outside of the box had been damaged and they were selling it for like less than half price. So, you know, always, you know, if you can, keep some of that stuff in mind. Because, yeah, we want to buy it when it's on discount or, you know, on sale. But sometimes if it's you know, that low, you just have to buy it whether you need it or not. Because you're not going to see that price again probably for quite a while. Okie dokies. So... now on these ones, I'm not stuffing them as tightly as I would some of the other things that I work on, like say a cone, an ice cream cone, because this is going to probably end up being tossed around and stuff. I don't know that this is going to be tossed around. This may end up being more like a decor piece in a baby's bedroom or something like that. And so I'm just not stuffing them as tightly. Plus, I don't want an older sibling or cousin or somebody to take this and wacko the baby with it. that would be really bad. Okay, so now what do I need to do? I've done that. Okay, so now we're on an increase round. Okie dokies. Let's see, what else? I think the next time that I actually order yarn, which is going to be a while because I have quite a bit to work through, but the next time I do that, I think I'm going to order from Premier Yarn. I've ordered from Hirschner's before. I've ordered from Yarnspirations and Hobie and Michaels and Joann's, although we all know, you know, RIP to Joann's. I have never actually ordered from Premier. I've ordered from Mary Maxim, you know, Amazon. However, I have not actually ordered from Premier. So that is something that I will be doing sometime in the future because I want to make sure that I have all the colorways that I want and need to continue doing what I'm doing. I also really have not worked much with any of the newer Premier yarns. I have some older ones that are from probably 10 years ago or so, but I don't have any of the newer stuff. So once I work through what I have, I will be figuring out what I need. And what will be stuff that I need to keep on hand, and then I will be ordering. Although, if you have not heard, Hirschner's is going to be picking up Big Twist. Now, I don't know if that means that they're bringing back all of the Big Twist lines, or they're going to put Big Twist, the name Big Twist, on a different yarn, or what they're going to do. However, they are going to be selling Big Twist. They bought the right to the name and the yarn and everything, and I think they will be selling some Big Twist that they purchased from the liquidators, since Joann's is no more. Even though the stores are still there, you're not really purchasing from Joann's, you're purchasing from the liquidators that bought Joann's. And some of the larger stores are selling stuff that's not what you would normally find in a Joann's, because they have purchased other companies and liquidated them, and they had stuff left over. And that stuff gets shipped out to the different stores to try and sell. Because that's really what a liquidator does, is they buy stuff to sell and make money. They're not trying to build a brand or build a name. They're literally just gobbling up other businesses and then selling off the assets that the other businesses have to make money. Which, I mean, if that's your game, not your game, but I don't know. I understand that it's a part of business. I'm just not real super thrilled with it. But on the other hand, you know, everybody has to make a dollar. Okay, we're getting close, guys. I am doing a decrease round right now. Working on a little bit of the body shaping right now. And then we will be adding the legs in here shortly. So we are slowly but surely getting there. Okay. We've got another decrease round here. And we are really getting close to adding in the legs, guys. Let's see here. This is working up fairly quick for me. It'd be quicker if I wasn't trying to talk to people, just because that takes more of my brain power. However, okie dokies. Now we're at the row where we need to add in the legs. However, I think before I add in the legs, I'm going to do a little bit more stuffing. Correct. You're right. A mallard is a duck. Okay, so this is what the mallard looks like without his legs. This next round is where we put on his legs. And of course, I dropped one of them to the floor. So, got my legs, got my mallard. Okie dokies. Okay. Okie dokies. Which way do they need to face? Okay. Okay, we've got 2 more rounds, and then this mighty mallard will be done, and then I'll be able to stitch him up. That's the nice thing about these no-sew patterns, is typically you only have one end that you actually have to sew in, and it's your very final end. And now we are finally on the final round. Okie dokies, we are almost there, folks. Once I finish this round, I am going to add a little bit more stuffing to him because he is not quite as well stuffed as I would like. Now I like to give myself a long, leave myself a long tail for weaving in. But there is our mallard duck. I need to work on stuffing him a little bit better. And then I will sew in the end and he will be done. Okay. Thank you guys for coming, and thank you for being here with me. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. I have a weekly makes video that will go out on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. and then I do lives Thursday at 5 and Saturday at 1, although that schedule may change as we get into the summertime because I do want to do some sales, and if I do that, I would like to take you guys along with me. The end of the stuffing. I go through 5 pounds of stuffing approximately every month to 6 weeks, depending on how productive I am and how many snugglers I'm making. Because if I'm making a lot of snugglers, then I'm not using quite as much of my stuffing. Okay, now the next hardest part. There we go, maybe. Threading the needle. I am so close to being done with this silly thing. Okie dokies. It really is, though, a quick make. I don't know that I'd call it necessarily a super quick market make, but it is a quick make. It does turn out really cute. Oh, I forgot. I still have to embroider the eyes. Okay. Okay, so he is almost done. I still need to put some white around his eyes, which I'm going to do right now. And then he'll be completely done and can go into my box of makes that need to be photographed. Actually, I have 2 boxes, and I need to start a third, but we'll get there. We will get there. Okay, almost done. I got one more end to sew in for the eye embroidery. And there is the mighty mallard. Okie dokies, guys. So it's been an hour and a half that we've been live. And I just really want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for coming over and spending this time with me. And I really hope that you have a great Friday. I will be back on Saturday at 1. And I just want to say that I have a couple things I'd like you to remember. You are wanted, you are needed, and you are loved. Please be kind to everyone, including yourself. And I will see you soon.